Hi, I'm Kate.
And we're from the Inside Out for Kids program.
You're probably watching this video because your child has a chance to do our Change, Grief and Loss program at school this term. So what is grief? Well, grief is the emotional response to a loss of some kind. And we tell the kids it's not just feeling sad when someone dies, it's actually a range of emotions that we go through when there's a really big change in our lives. So there's lots of changes that might happen to kids, and they're all really good reasons to come to this program. It might be because a loved one has passed away, it might be because there's been a medical diagnosis, a big change in the family like separation or divorce, or just not being able to see people anymore through moving house or working away from home, or through something like having a jail sentence in the family. So they're all really good reasons to come to the Change, Grief and Loss program, and kids just tend to need a bit of extra support from adults around them at times of big change.
During the Change, Grief and Loss program, the children come and meet with a trained facilitator every week for 7 weeks. And during that time, in a small group, we get to know each other. We learn about different emotions and what they do in our bodies. We talk about the stages of grief and how we're feeling about the big change. We also make crafts that help us remember the special times, and we share things about ourselves and about relationships that we are proud of. A typical 45-minute session includes games, crafts, activities and picture books.
We just thought it would be really helpful to share 3 of the main things that we cover in the Change, Grief and Loss program with the kids, and to share that with you, the families.
Number 1, all emotions are okay. So emotions are a response to the things that are going on around us and the way we think about things. We tell the kids that there are no good or bad emotions, they just are. Some emotions though feel comfortable in our bodies, like happy, proud, calm and loved. And other emotions feel uncomfortable in our bodies, like angry, rejected, jealous and sad. Because of these reactions that make us feel uncomfortable, we can label them as bad. But in the Change, Grief and Loss program, we tell the kids that all emotions just have a job to do.
We try and help kids figure out what emotions they're having about their big change by exploring what emotions do to the body and to the face. So if we can work out how we're feeling and give it a word and a name, it actually helps us express ourselves. And we know that we all do better with grief and big emotions if we can get what we're feeling on the inside out and shared with somebody else in words, especially a caring adult when we're a kid. So we do use a lot of different emotion words so we can help kids find the right ones to express how they're feeling about the big change.
Number 2, emotions can be mixed. Secondly, change usually brings a range of emotions that can get all mixed up in there together. It can be a really confusing time for kids. So we have a whole session that's dedicated to exploring anger. Anger is one of the stages of grief because things are out of control and can be really unfair. It's really helpful for kids to know that feeling angry is one of the processes in grief. Anger is often easier to show on the outside, especially at school, rather than being ashamed or rejected or disappointed. It's easier to show that anger. It can be a bit embarrassing showing emotion at school, particularly crying. If we're holding in all those emotions, all those uncomfortable emotions inside, sometimes they can leak out sideways in an intense and sometimes messy moment of anger. It can be hard for kids to manage their emotions at school. We find it really enlightening to talk to the kids and just find out what's going on underneath that anger and what else we need to look at that's deep down inside. Sometimes you can see on their faces that they really understand and that they find a real relief in knowing that they're not going crazy and they're not a terrible person. They're just trying to manage some really uncomfortable emotions.
The third thing is our stories and our memories are really important for processing grief. So it can be said that kids need to tell their story about 20 or 30 times before they really understand what's happened to them and the changes that they're going through. So that storytelling part is a big part of our program, and we give kids lots of opportunities to tell little parts of their story through the games that we play and the activities we have. So we might be drawing, or we might be ordering things or sorting things. And that's a really kid-friendly way to put things into a timeline of the things that have happened to them, and that helps their brain process the events and to be able to grieve properly and work through the changes that have happened in their life. Because kids are still developing their language when they're young, sometimes they need that support person to really help them find the words for their story. So we do a lot of sentence starters with the kids. So we'll say things like I need, or I wish, or I miss, and get them to finish the sentences, a way of getting the words out of their bodies to express the way they feel.
We talk to the kids about the bad news line, that moment when they hear the news that something's going to change, and sometimes permanently. We talk about what's happened before, how things are now, and then we ask them how they wish things might be in the future. Putting their story on a before and after timeline really helps kids to come to terms with what they've lost, how things used to be, and also with the new normal. We also celebrate strong memories, people, places and things that they've loved and may have lost, and we often make things to help with those special memories, bead bracelets, photo boards and memory boxes where they can store significant items to help them remember the good times, and we hope some of these crafts make it home to you.
So all the activities, all the books, all the games that we do in our sessions actually matter less than just being together. So the most important thing that we can do for your family and for your kids when they're going through big changes and difficult times is just to listen and to be present in their life as a neutral adult. So we really value that time. Another thing that is really good for kids is to be able to do this program in a small group with other kids. So it's so valuable for us as humans to know that we're not the only ones going through tough times, and that it's really beautiful to see the kids support each other and listen to each other. That can be a really powerful moment for our kids.
We just want to tell you two more things. We as facilitators are confidential and we keep the children's stories safe, and we also value their dignity to share things when they're ready to share them. If you want to know more about how we keep things safe or how we deal with this in a group situation, you can check out our Safeguarding Children video that the link will be shared in our description. Secondly, as facilitators, we're educators, we're not counsellors or mental health professionals. So our wellbeing programs provide simple and supportive strategies, not particular therapies as such. We want to do the best we can for the children in a school environment to provide a free program so that any child who wants to do the Change, Grief and Loss program can have a turn. Thank you again for letting your children participate in the Change, Grief and Loss program this term.
We hope they had a really good experience and they really enjoy their bag of treats, and that their time with Inside Out for Kids has been a blessing to them and your family.